technical, but this topic I chose because even if UPI just stands for Unified Payment Interface. It is there for quite some time in the market, but the problem is I've seen people, they're very scared to use this feature. But let me tell you, like you are using your credit card, debit card, so means nicely everywhere. But this is more safer than that, I feel, if you are careful enough. Because if you feel like that, problems are there everywhere. Even if like people are getting fraud from debit card also, they're getting defrauded from means any other means also not. So UPI is not the only thing to blame. So there are three things: either lack of knowledge, or you are believing in some myth, or you are not careful enough. That's why you went through some bad experience in your life. So that doesn't mean that this is not good. So I will be discussing the do's and don'ts and why we should use UPI, how safe it is, good points, bad points. So this is what it is stands for, Unified Payment Interface. So let us go through some overview. So everyone can see the right side of the screen, right? Because I can't see it.
Yes, yes, we
Yes,
can
Abhi.
see.
Okay,
Yes,
nice.
we can see.
Okay, so I don't know how to move this. Okay, I can move this. Yeah. So UPI makes it easier to send or receive money directly to the bank account. So unlike using a separate wallet and all, if you see like quite some time back, we had Paytm. So Paytm, what it was doing is like PhonePe also was there. What it was initially doing is it will take some money from the bank if you recharge, kind of recharge, if you're putting into that wallet, and through that wallet you are using it. So why we were feeling that one was good? Because we don't have to share our bank details. We share the Paytm details, and you control the money. Like you recharge for 500 means you can use 500 only. So that is how it was. But the problem was every time you have to recharge, and if you are running short of money, again you have to go through that whole process. Again, you fund your wallet, then you can use it. But right now, this UPI enables us to do the transaction directly from bank to bank. Okay, it doesn't matter which bank to which bank, you can just do it. And secondly, you don't have to share your card details anywhere. Like you can see many sites like Geo or Amazon, Flipkart, everywhere they're storing your card details. So it is based on a trust actually, which is fine sometimes, but it's not fine on all the sites. You don't need to share your card details. You won't feel comfortable about it because you are giving everything, including your CVV and all. So you don't need to give those things in UPI because it's totally in your control. So once you are using UPI means you don't have to give any details. You don't have to touch any other device that belongs to the other person whom you are sending money. Okay. So as I said, you have to put the pin in your own device. So if you're using it through like smartphone, then you can hide your smartphone very well. You can go to some corner where someone is not seeing, and you can put it. Unlike like when you're putting the card in your swiping machine and all, you have to use their machine and put it. So it is quite uncomfortable. It is wired, and you can go to up to some extent. You cannot go beyond that. You have to put it. Sometimes some idiots will be peeping from behind. They don't care like you're putting a pin or what. So it feels uncomfortable. But if you have your own device, means you can go to any other place and you can put your pin, and the transaction will be successful. So the best part of this UPI is unlike when we are doing internet banking and all these things, there are certain limit after which you will be charged per transaction. So IMPS is definitely charged. NEFT after some limit it will be charged, but UPI is completely free of cost. So you can go through this link and see that why till now it is free of cost. It is clearly there. There are some myths going on that it will be chargeable, this, that, but it is wrong. So you can see this news article which says that it is still now free. And there are multiple payment modes. So you can use either QR code, or you can have a unique UPI ID that is assigned to you, and it is linked to your bank account. Okay, or you can do self transfer if you have multiple, more than one bank linked. And you can have multiple UPI IDs also. I'll be talking about it later. You can have multiple UPI IDs, but all will be linked to the same bank account. So it doesn't matter what UPI ID you are using, it will be deducted, or credit debit will happen to the single bank account. Now these are some third-party applications. Why I say third-party in the sense, bank also provides their own UPI functionality, which I'll be showing the slides in future. But these are the popular third-party apps you would have been generally using. There are n number of apps, but these are very popular ones. Either PhonePe, Google Pay, Paytm, Bheem UPI introduced by government, and recently, like even less than 1 year before, this India Post also, they developed their own payment application, which is known as DarkPay. So as I said, the apps are different. Ultimately, the functionality remains the same. You may see the application look and feel is different, but ultimately what they do is they do the exact same thing. Okay, if you are a little bit well versed how to use it, you know that which application will work how. But ultimately, the way to do the transaction is same. And all these third-party apps that I showed you, that depends on the bank API. So recently you would have heard that since the popularity of this Google Pay and Phone Pay has become too much, so government of India has put a cap on it. Like cap in the sense you cannot do more than for 40,000 transaction per month or per 15 days, something like that. So since these third-party apps will go through API, that's the reason we can easily put cap on them. API in the sense the technical people will already understand. So these apps will take your details, like how much money you want to transfer, which bank you want to transfer, and they will send to that particular bank. So that bank will keep this record, plus it will forward the information to the other bank. So this is how like API works. So API will know that, okay, this request is coming from this person using this app. So it can stop it. Like say 39,000 you have already spent, and your cap is like 40,000. Now you're sending for 2,000 rupees right now, which totals to 41. Then it will just fail there. It will say, it continue to say retry, but it will never be successful. Then you have to use some other application to use do the same thing. So each bank also provides their own UPI service. So every time you might be using a mobile application. For our bank, we have HDFC as our salary account. We have our mobile application. Each bank has their own mobile application. So as you can see, this is an example of HDFC and ICICI. So HDFC, when you log into internet banking or inside your within in your phone application when you log in, so there is a pay option. Inside that pay, you can see UPI payment is there. And if you go to ICICI, there is a separate UPI. So each and every application has this feature. So these are all direct from the bank. You don't, these are not third party. These are the first party application, you can say. So they do it either through Bheem or they do it through their own. So since there are multiple applications, but I want to explain you, all works in the same pattern. So I want to explain you through, give you an example using how to use Google Pay. So it's all same thing. So you can take an example of Phone Pay also. After knowing this, you can use Paytm, any UPI app you can use. So, but I'll be taking the example of Google Pay, which was initially known as Google Pays. And you have this link, which also provides step-by-step image, pictorial representation of how to use it. You can go through that link. So basically it provides four things: either bank transfer. So if you know the account number IFSC, you can do the transfer to the other person, or through the other person's phone number, or UPI ID or QR code, or self transfer. So I'll be talking about UPI ID, QR code, and self transfer because that is what is the topic. So if some person, so I would like to bring attention of the people who are scared to use it and the first time users. I would like to tell them that you should try it first. There may be some myths in your mind that why I should not use UPI, but you should use UPI. And so to start with, these are all the screenshot of an older version of the app. So in the newer version, it's not much different. It will just color difference, UI difference, but ultimately the app looks the same. Okay, so once you are logging into this Google Pay app for the first time, you have to use your phone number that is linked to your bank accounts also. So it should be the same. Okay, if you have dual SIM and both the SIMs are linked to the individual banks, then you have to decide which SIM you have to use, and that bank only can be added. The other SIM bank cannot be added simultaneously. Till now, I know it cannot be, but in future they may implement. So once you log in and go to your profile section, you can see there is an option called bank account. So for the first time users, there will be only one option called add bank account. You can see here, it will be add bank account, and these things won't be there. These are the screenshot says so, but once you click on the add bank account, it will be showing you the list of it, list of the banks. So for our example, I'll consider, let's say we have two banks, HDFC also I have, and I have ICICI also. So it is already listed here, or you can scroll through the other options. If you find HDFC below, you can click on HDFC. So what will happen is, this is the screen it will show. So automatically from the number that you have logged in, or it may ask you which number, which SIM slot you have. Some application may ask it. So you have to select that SIM slot. So automatically it will send an SMS and verify through the bank that whether this phone number is tied up with that particular bank that you have chosen or not. If it is chosen, then it will verify the things and bring back the bank information. And sometimes, like some bank will be asking your card ending digits, or there's some cards who are having grid system, like letter to number combination. They will be asking. These are for security things. Once you put the correct set of information, then the bank account will be added, and then it will look like this, and there won't be any activate and all. It will clearly look, and it will be saying active. So that bank will be active in your application. So similarly, here HDFC gets added means similarly you can add ICICI. So both banks will be added. Now I'll be telling you an example of how payment can be done through UPI. So this is again an older version of the app. So in the newer version, it's not much different. So when you log into this application, and provided that you have already added the bank accounts that I showed before, you can click on new. Like you are doing it for the first time, you click on new. There will be some options. As I said, we can do bank account transfer, we can do phone number transfer, we can do UPI ID transfer. So you select this UPI ID or QR code. So UPI ID and QR code is nothing but like UPI ID, like your email ID. It is unique in the entire world. So when you give your email ID, that particular application knows that whom this mail should go to. That's all. Here also UPI ID also does the same purpose. So whom this payment should go to. That's how to determine that we are having a unique UPI ID. Okay, so it will be assigned per application. I'll be discussing that a little later. And QR code also is the same. If you're like you don't have the UPI ID of the person, so you have seen that Saravana store everywhere they will have a QR code. You scan it, nothing it does. It will just take the information, scan out the information, like it will have the UPI ID, bank details to which you are trying to transfer. So mind it, you should come to this screen only when you're sending money. For receiving money, you have to do nothing like this. Okay. When you're sending money, then only you have to put UPI ID or you have to scan the QR code. Okay. So you can see here, once you have clicked that UPI ID and QR code, so it will be saying to enter the UPI ID. So say I'm transferring to Julie, and so Julie's UPI ID, I can put it and I can click on verify. Before that, I would like to tell you what is UPI ID actually, how it is assigned. So there can be multiple UPI IDs that is linked to a particular single bank. So for example, HDFC Bank, and I have added HDFC Bank to Google Pay. So what will happen is Google Pay, what it does is automatically it will take your first portion of the email. So for example, my email is abhishek.k@issuegroupintl.com. So it will take abhishek.k and it will put @ of OK HDFC Bank. Okay, so this is an means a default setting for Google Pay. So this becomes your UPI ID for me, abhishek.k @ of OK HDFC Bank. So this UPI ID is linked to my HDFC Bank account, but this is linked by this UPI ID is given to me by Google Pay. But if I'm using Phone Pay sometimes what it does is it will use your phone number @ of YBL, something like that, if I remember correctly. So it is the different UPI ID, but it still belongs to the same bank and it still belongs to you. But still, since it is given by another app, UPI ID looks different. So you can understand UPI IDs are multiple, but your bank link is single. Okay, if you use Bheem, it will just do like your phone number @ of UPI. If you're using Amazon Pay, it will do phone number @ of APL. Okay, so there are various kind of UPI IDs. So whichever you put, it will be linking to the same bank account. Okay. So since we are using Google Pay here, and I have put the UPI ID of Julie, so I'm trying to transfer some money to her. So when I click on verify, what will happen is, this is the best feature. It will show the name of Julie here. If I have put everything correct, it will show the name of Julie. So if I have done any typo here, so if that UPI ID is not valid, it will tell me in this next screen that it is not valid. Or sometimes there may be a chance that the UPI ID is valid, but it belongs to someone else. And because of my mistake, I'm accidentally going to send money to someone else. But in the next screen, it will show that person's name. So generally what happens when you are going to pay to a merchant or something, you ask their UPI ID and you made a mistake. What I generally do is I confirm with them. I show my screen to them. Hey, is this your name? So he will confirm. Yeah, this is my name. So you are confirmed that whatever UPI ID he has given belongs to that person. He has confirmed. So you click on OK, you come to the screen. So here you have three options, because you can either chat with that person before sending the money. You can click on pay, or you can request. Request I'll discuss little later. It's just the reverse of pay. So you are requesting someone money, okay? But it is just the reverse of pay, and this is what is mostly misused nowadays. And since people don't understand, that's why they fall into this trap. Otherwise, uh, you should not fall for the trap. I'll be discussing that a little later. So when you click on pay, this is how the screen comes. So for example, this is the first level of security. You can see this might be your image and to whom you are paying. It's clearly written here that you are paying to Redbus. So even if someone has sent you some fraud link, you have clicked on it and you have come to this page, clearly here also you can understand that, okay, hey, I'm sending money to that person, I'm supposed to receive it. No, I should not do that. I'll discuss that later. But here you are, if you're paying, then clearly you can see here you are paying to Redbus, and this is the Redbus's UPI ID. What is the amount? An optional reason. You can see here it will be asking what is this for. This is an optional remark, like you can put like a bus ticket booking or something like that. If you come down here, so here is the information of your primary bank account. Primary bank account in the sense whatever bank account you have set as primary, it's in setting for every application provides. Whichever you have set the bank as primary, it will show it by default there. And you can see an arrow here. Since we took two examples, we added two bank accounts, HDFC and ICICI. So HDFC is my primary, let's say, but I don't want to pay through HDFC. You can very well click during this transition, this arrow, and you can select ICICI Bank, that I want to pay through ICICI Bank. Once you click on proceed to pay, you can see this kind of UI. Again, this is an old version of UI, but I can show you. This is what I was trying to do yesterday. So when I'm sending to the other person, I'm sending to my wife. So my wife's name will be written here. The recipient's name will be written here. How much money you are sending, it will be written here. Which bank? This is my bank. Which bank is from which bank I'm sending, it will be written here. But the main thing is you have to see is this one. It's clearly saying you are transferring money to the account of this person. So even if you have skipped that first warning, you have come to this last page. So this is the last step, guys. If you put the UPI pin, payment will be done. You cannot reverse it. You cannot do anything. So this is the thing they have put it nowadays. You can see previously it was not there. Nothing was there. Only pin was there. But nowadays they are more careful and they are putting it that you are transferring money. So you have to be careful and you have to verify that yes, I am sending money to that person. Then only you put the pin and click on this tick mark, then your transaction will be successful. It is that simple. Now, this is the main thing I need to discuss, do's and don'ts of UPI, because people fall prey for the fraudsters and all just because they don't understand what needs to be done and what doesn't need to be done. Okay, so these are the do's and don'ts. Do in the sense, what you have to do is make sure you log in and do all the UPI related transaction in privacy. You can do it clearly because you have your mobile phone in your hand. You can go to any corner and do it when no one is around. You don't have to be forced to be standing in the cash counter and doing that transaction because you are dependent on the machine or something. Okay, and regularly you can change your UPI pin. UPI pin is also known as MPIN. So you can regularly, frequently change it if you are doing too much public transaction and there is a doubt that anyone has seen your UPI pin or something. For safety purpose, you have to do it. That's what we do for our ATM pin and all. And after putting the UPI ID or scanning the QR code, verify. As I showed you there, when once you click on verify, it will show the person's name. So you ask that person, is this your name, before doing the transaction, because it's your money going to him. If anything wrong happens, he will say that okay, I didn't get it, but it is your mistake at the end, right? So you have to be careful. You ask that person, then you can hold him accountable. So hey, I asked you, then you said, then I made the payment. Now you are saying it is not yours. Okay, and always install the verified application. There are many applications in Play Store. I don't know how they're allowed. So if you see those applications, they use the similar kind of logo and all, but the purpose is not same. If you go through deeply through their description and all, you understand, okay, this is not the app which I looked for. So even if you can call customer care nowadays, they'll send an SMS with a link to the Play Store or for iPhone and all. But don't go by yourself and download from any other source which is not authorized. If you are using Wi-Fi, you should always use the secure ones, and you should always keep track on your e-statements. So monthly statements, when it comes, generally we just skip it. No, don't do that. Just read it. Even if it is a ₹1 difference, you should see how it was done. And for UPI, there will be some option, some hints given that this transaction was done through UPI. So you have to keep track of it. Okay, this some misuse happened in UPI means even if it is ₹1 of misuse, then you have to you can know it through the statement and you can report to your bank immediately. Now the don'ts are Like never share your UPI pin with anyone. This is what repeatedly any bank will tell. Even if you call to customer care, they'll tell the same thing. Repeated SMSs are being sent. Still, people tend to do this mistake. Never share any suspicious email links and all. Never click that. Okay, so they may be saying that. So the best part fraudsters are doing nowadays is like say OLX. For OLX, if you are putting any ad to sell something, that means you are expecting money. So you are selling your item expecting money. So for expecting money, you don't have to do anything. Sit back, relax, get your account statement and check that money has been received or not. But what they do is they send you some QR code or they send you some link. They say that if you click that link or you scan that QR code, then you will receive money. Never. You don't have to do anything for receiving money. That's the golden rule. For receiving money, you don't do anything. You don't put any pin, you don't scan any QR, you don't click any link. So even if they're sending something, you should be careful there itself that this is a fraudster. Don't involve with them at all. Okay. Okay. This is a common sense thing. You don't have to use the UPI pin or ATM pin. Also, I would suggest that is very easily predictable. The mobile number, birth year, telephone number, etc. So UPI application also you don't have to install through someone else's device. Sometimes there is a app sharing applications and many applications are there that shares the application. So if that person has installed a malicious software, means you are also will be tending to get it. You think that he's installed from Play Store, but that may not be the case. If his app is infected, if you transfer it to your mobile, that will also get infected. Okay, don't engage with fraudsters. They are very much keen and they know how to convince you to do wrong things. Okay, they'll lure you into things. If you know that person is fraudster, just cut the call or just disengage from them. Okay, so as I said, you never have to enter your UPI pin while receiving money. Okay, and there will be many calls going on to me also. I got so many calls. They're saying Amazon representative, you have to confirm your Amazon pay, this that, you have to complete your KYC and all. So for KYC also, you don't have to do anything. KYC they're doing online, or any delivery boy who is coming, they are doing the KYC. There are proper channels. They're properly writing all this thing in their application. You don't have to click on any link or don't have to do anything over the phone to complete your KYC. And this is a frequent thing going on. Don't install any screen sharing application. What they do is once you share your screen, they can see what you're doing and they easily steal your information. So if you're careful, UPI is very safe. So what fraudsters are doing is phishing scams. What they're doing is they'll send an unauthorized payment link, as I said in the SMS. So that it will look exactly similar to your HDFC bank. It will be like HDFC or something like that they'll be putting. But you're not careful enough. You feel that, okay, it is a genuine link and you click on it. So hurriedly, when you click on it, it will directly send it to the UPI payment application, and you do that. You put that pin and all, then totally gone. It means you will be doing a wrong thing. Okay, remote sharing tools, as I said, what they do is if you share, they'll say that for verification purpose, we need to see what you're doing. Sir, you will only do it, but we need to see what you're doing. We'll just guide you. We won't do anything. We won't ask you any pin and all. But you don't understand that he's seeing what you're doing. So he clearly knows your pin and all the details. Okay, never do that remote sharing and all. And there are fake UPI IDs. You can see during this PM Cares what was happening. It is exactly same UPI IDs they're using. PM Care, PM.care at the rate of SBI. Everything is exactly looking the same. But the actual one was PM Cares at SBI. So this was also in a trend. Like the bank has to come up and say that these are all fake. Please don't do that. But many people have fallen prey to that. So QR code scanning. So OLX and all, they are frequently doing. Means we are reading in newspapers that people are scanning the QR code and they are just thinking that they'll receive money. You don't have to do that. Okay. So this is what is happening in OLX and all. So people, they are giving cashback offers. So this one is most dangerous. So people knowingly, they know that money will be deducted. So knowingly, there's the cashback offer is like, you if you do 100 rupees of transaction, you get 1,000 rupees back. Okay, so what they will do is people know that I'm doing the wrong transaction. They'll send the 100 rupees, but there will be no cashback at all. Okay, so there are some valid ways of getting rewards. The app itself, whatever app you're using, they'll provide a reward. Almost every app is providing reward to you, like Google Pay, Phone Pay, Amazon. Everyone is providing cashback and all. You don't have to give your information over the call or do whatever the person is saying over a call or asking you to click a link and all. That is all wrong. So this is a screen where you can see once you do any transaction, Google Pay will be sending you the scratch cards and all. You can win some rewards or any sites, coupon code and all, etc. So final thing, what I'm saying, I wanted to say to conclude is like requesting money. The golden rule is a very good feature. Requesting money, as I showed you there is a request option. So you are on a mall or something, you are running short of money. You request to your dad or your some any friend or something. If you know their UPI ID or QR code, you say request to them that hey, please send me this much money. So what they will do is they'll get your request, click on it. It's the same thing. Like they have to click on the link and they have to do the transaction only if they believe you. But the other fraudsters are also misusing this because they are providing the same link and asking you that you will receive money, but you are not going to receive money. They are going to receive the money, which is wrong. Golden rule, as I said, never insert UPI pin or MPIN for receiving money. Always confirm once you have scanned the QR code and all. Always confirm that you are doing it to the right person. There can be multiple UPI IDs. As I said, for Bheem UPI, there will be a separate UPI ID assigned to you. For Google Pay, separate UPI ID will be assigned to you. But ultimately, it will be the same link to the same bank account. You can also do self transfer. Like say I get salary, I need to transfer it to some other bank account because I have spread it, or I have to transfer it to my father's account. So I have added those accounts to my I have added my own accounts to the Google Pay because I cannot add other person's account because I need to have that SIM card in my mobile. So if I added two applications, two bank accounts, it's like HDFC and ICICI, and once I get salary in HDFC, I want to transfer it to ICICI. So there is a self-transfer option. You can click on self-transfer without any charges. You can instantly transfer money. Okay, that is self-transfer. And one example I would like to say before I conclude. So once I purchased some toy for my son. So you just see the complicacy, but it is simple at the end. So I have my HDFC bank. I was using Google Pay. Google Pay linked with HDFC bank. I'm using Google Pay to scan a QR code that is generated by Paytm for the merchant. And Paytm's bank account is Axis Bank. You see, four things are involved here: HDFC Bank, Google Pay, Paytm, then Axis Bank. What happened is many times you will see that it happened with me also. I scanned the QR code, I sent the money, I got a message, money got deducted, I got a message that transaction successful. This happened because I'm using a third party app. What happened is it sent the request to the HDFC UPI, which is my bank, and that UPI accepted the money and accepted the request and deducted the money. Then what happened is that same request went to Paytm. Now, either at the Paytm's end or either at Axis Bank's end, they didn't accept the thing, or it took some time for them to authenticate it properly. So instantly, the money was deducted from my end, but it was never credited to the merchant's account. So this kind of problem happen frequently, but it doesn't mean that you lost the money or something. No, maximum you have to wait for 48 hours or 72 hours. Before that itself, they will sort it out. So that first person called me, hey, I didn't receive money. So then when I called that customer care, they simply said, sir, wait for 72 hours. Definitely this will be sorted. This is some authentication issue. Just because I'm using bank A, using third party app, using another third party app for transferring to bank B. So there was some miscommunication in between, which can be sorted within 72 hours. Even Google Pay sometimes told me one time I was trying to self-transfer 30,000 amount. That is transferring between Google Pay to Google Pay to different bank accounts. But what happened is that money was stuck. So they even told me to wait for 1 week, and after 4 days it was cleared. So never it will happen that it may be delayed. That is the backside of it, but it will never happen that you will lose money with this unless you are not careful enough, and you are doing some mistakes. So that's all, guys. I would like people to know and ask questions regarding this if you are really uh, curious about using this.
Thank you, Abhishek. Very useful and interesting session. But I have a question.
So,
No, I was reading in newspaper that people were cheated just by scanning the QR code sent by someone as if they would be receiving the money, but after reading the QR code, they lost the money. Money was
yeah.
transferred from their account to the cheating person. So, but you say that for receiving a money, even on after reading the QR code, for receiving a money, we are not, we don't need to enter the PIN, right?
So you need
It's
to enter
always
the
the
PIN.
case.
Without PIN, the transaction will never be successful. So I'll give an example how it happens when you do Swiggy. So you try it today, like when you are doing a transaction through Swiggy, when you are completing your order, in the payment section you have an UPI. So when you click on UPI, it will give you two options: one text box, one QR code. Either you can scan the QR code, that will get the Swiggy's information, or you can put the virtual ID or the UPI ID which I told you. So for example, for Google Pay, you have put say Natarajan at the rate of OKHDFC Bank. So it will send that request to, you will get it as a SMS also, you'll get it as a notification also in your Google Pay application. So once you click on that link, you'll be redirected to the Google Play application. So that is correct. You'll be redirected definitely. But where you'll be redirected? So that screen which I showed you, the blue screen will be there. No, I showed you that screen. So that screen will be there. The amount will be auto-filled. The remarks will be auto-filled. Your bank account, default account is already selected. You just have to click pay. That is the only difference. But when you click pay, the next screen will be definitely PIN. Without entering PIN, it won't be successful as per my knowledge.
Oh, okay. No, but I haven't personally experienced that. But I read many times in the newspapers people were cheated after reading the QR code, as if they were given a false promise they would receive the money, but after reading the QR code, they lost the money. So, as a common man, I just want to know if I read a QR code on that I would receive money. It could not take to my GPay or the UPI application, isn't it? Or
Sir, can you see my screen still?
yes, no, it stopped.
My Zoom application is gone. Okay, again I'll try to share. Can you see now?
Yes.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, once you scan a QR code, what will happen? Nothing happen. Only this screen will be coming to you, because if you have done through like say Google Pay, so you open Google Pay, you can see that there is an option here. Okay, it's not visible. There is an option here. When you click on it, your camera will open. Okay,
Okay.
so using that camera, when you scan the QR code shown in the site or anywhere, like Saravana store you're going, there will be a placard kind of thing, and QR code will be there. When you scan that QR code, what will happen is it will autofill this information. Whatever you're seeing in this first example, exactly the
Okay.
same thing will happen.
Okay.
Okay. So exactly same thing. It will autofill the things. It will say like payment to that particular person or Swiggy or something. That information will be filled in. The amount will be filled in. Your bag will be selected. You have to click proceed to pay. So
Okay.
this portion of the app automatically it will come when you click on that link. That is correct.
Okay.
But
Okay.
or you scan the QR code. Okay. So once you click on proceed to pay, you definitely have to go through this PIN thing. Without entering the PIN, I'm sure the transaction will never happen, because how they will know your PIN?
No. Okay. The question is not getting this particular screen.
Hmm.
The question is if we are receiving money on reading the QR code, would
No,
that take
you'll
to
never
this
receive.
screen or not?
No, no, no. You
Okay.
never scan anyone's QR code for receiving money. That's the golden rule. For receiving, you don't have to do anything. Right now, if I send you, I know your UPI ID or you have shared your QR code through email or something. I can scan it. You will be sitting there just getting an SMS that this much amount has been credited to your account. You don't have to do anything.
Okay. That's the point. Okay. That's a good thing that if it whenever we read a QR code, if it takes to this API, then we should should be careful. Okay, this is something to make us to pay the money,
Yeah.
so we can immediately cancel. So that's a thing that I just want to get cleared.
Yes, sir. You
Thank you.
can see this like in the final page also. It is warning you. Note, you are transferring money to this person. So if you are
Okay.
still not reading that, means it's your mistake.
I was surprised to read many times. The people were cheated just by reading the QR code, lost money. So I just wanted to know how did that happen.
No, sir. Most educated people are doing this mistake. One doctor was there. Someone claimed that you'll win money. He shared his OTP. He shared his PIN. If you do that foolish thing, then definitely someone will take advantage. No, he's a doctor kind of person, but he was looted of 33 lakhs or something.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes. Anyone else? Please discuss about it. And if you have any of your own bad experience or good experience, please share. This is all something very useful to everyone, I feel.
One thing that I can just share for my technical user group current account, person is constantly paying 1 rupee every month. I don't know why he is doing, what is his intention.
Google
I
Pay?
asked the banker and they couldn't give any further information on that.
No,
The
it is
person
Google
is
Pay, sir.
paying 1 rupee every month to that account. That's a current account for the user group.
No, using UPI, are you
Yes,
sure about?
yes.
So there is an option in Google Pay. So if any new user has come, which is in your contact list,
Mhm.
say I'm in your contact list, okay,
Mhm.
and I'm first time to this UPI, I'm started using to Google Pay, and you are already using Google Pay. So it will show an option. So Abhishek has also started using Google Pay, sending an 1 rupee for welcome gift, something like that. They'll say. Sometimes it is like that also.
Okay.
As long as you're receiving, just even if it is 1 rupee, you should be happy.
No, okay, but I'm constantly receiving it. I'm just wondering why that person. I just couldn't contact him as well. Couldn't get any further details about that person. Even I checked with the bank that they couldn't give any further information. So I'm constantly getting. I think I received nearly 11 rupees or 12 rupees throughout the year.